capable of doing about 10 points either way. I'm pretty sure the ATR is about 10 points. Let's take a quick look at that one as well. If I can just pull it up right here. Tesla's ATR is 7.83. It is countdown time. Here comes the bell.
Here comes the bell. Adair, let's get this Tesla party started in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it. Do not forget that you've got Powell talking essentially now. I mean, I don't know exactly what time his comments are going to be going, but we are expecting Powell. He's talking in Portugal, so we will be locked and loaded, ready for that. We'll bring you anything that he does say. PayPal immediately broke that local high. Simultaneously, I'm not going to get off this Tesla chart because Tesla's the first place I'm looking, but PayPal broke that top. It's hunting for 59s. I am on the offer to get some out in front of the even dollar, but there's that dip. Obi, you had a VWAP at 218.
Yeah, it bounced.
218
exactly
just bounced, so that was the right one to look at. I'm going to be looking over at your chart for the AVWAP and before I set it up on my trade ideas, but that was the spot. You wanted it, it gave you a VWAP, not normal VWAP on Tesla just now. So good little move there for Tesla back in. I think I got to stick a fork in. NVIDIA 123 is not going to happen anytime soon, but it is starting to make a little bit of a bounce. But Tesla is absolutely flying. Another high break would be 223 to the long side. Oh, PayPal broke that 59, now heading toward 59 and a quarter. We'll get another piece out there as Tesla. Wow, Tesla is the real story. Position board not working, guys. Can we refresh that? Because I am in PayPal. Only position for me is the PayPal long.
Yeah, no, it kind of blasted up. It is washing this 220 level, man. It went up to 221, comes right back. And we talk about how some of these dollar breaks are so predatory these days. It's just like it knows how certain people are playing these dollar breaks, and it just washes people on both sides before kind of continuing. And we went up all the way to almost 222 there, and then flushing right back into 220 or 219s trading as of right now. So I did get involved a little bit there, maybe a little too early as 218s come in. This is that anchored that we were looking at just a little bit earlier, and we are just chopping and churning on this 218. This volume is definitely absolutely wild here as Tesla trades just chopping around this 219, 218, 220s. Oh boy, again, coming off of deliveries there, lots of participation in the first few minutes here. 220 definitely has been anticipated by a lot, and then we also kind of marked out that larger time frame trend as well that's been going on Tesla to the downside overall, and that's what Neil, you said that's around 227 or so.
Yeah, well, it's like 227, 228. It's going to be. When you're looking at a trend line on a daily chart, it's not going to be exact, but Tesla is definitely holding. Like I said, it's not going to be exact, but it's about 227 to 228. I'm not thinking about short until we get to that level. Well, I guess until we take another fill, you're not going to see positions. PayPal might come out here for me as it's starting to dump in a little bit. If it can't hold that breakout at 70s, then we jump out of this trade here for PayPal. So the initial break got us where we wanted to, but you are coming back underneath that 70 level. We'll have to take it out. Tesla is holding fort.
Crazy.
Right here at the 219, 218 is exactly where it's holding. I'm looking for a place to add to it, and I haven't really been convinced. I'd almost rather be buying a higher low than try to catch a better price there. Maybe it is a scalp to the 220 first, and maybe look for an ad somewhere else.
Yeah, no, that 220 coming right back in there. So I did kind of hold through all that chop. I kind of like that VWAP hold as of right now on top of the 218. We go back down to that 218. Look at my chart right here. We attempt to go back down. Can't really get too far into that 218 bid, and then coming right back up into the 220. So yeah, definitely a little bit of chop sideways action right off of the open. What is the opening price? The opening price is 218.89, and we are chopping this 220 very, very aggressively. Now, I know that a lot of eyes are on this ticker, but take a look at the futures as well. You can see the futures ripping to the upside. Very, very aggressive push past some of those levels there, and we're coming right back into this 218.
Oh,
so
no.
maybe some trouble happening here on Tesla. What's going on?
Opportunity cost, everybody. While the eyeballs are looking at Tesla, you know Chewy broke that flat bottom, and bye-bye. It's game over, man. what do we say? If it loses that support on Chewy, it is game over. It is absolutely game over. Well, okay, it's only down 4%, but not looking good for this. One more time, Chewy to the depths of hell. Let's go to Adair at the desk.
Yes, be aware here. We did have the panel beginning right now here at the ECB over in Portugal. Currently, we have moderators here, Eisner, CNBC, asking all of the Fed chairs, including Fed President, or ECB President, Lagarde, about their takes and their strategy with rate cuts. So we'll let you guys know here what Powell's response is, but just so you know, we have begun. Also, I have Altria up here, MO. This one popping up a little bit on reports that the FDA is, in its efforts to curb the use of flavored vapes, actually getting some scrutiny from the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court looking at some of these efforts the FDA has been undergoing to curb the use of vapes. Keep an eye on MO and some of these other tobacco-related names, guys.
Okay, so apologies, guys. The position board still isn't working here, unfortunately. So I was long 219s, took some out for the dollar. The buyers stepped up to the 220 level. I'm now long at an average price of 220 on Tesla and have no other positions. So it's just Tesla at an average price of 220 that I have. I'm offering out in front of 222, and we'll look for places to add, maybe even a 223 break. I was asked if I got the Apple dip buy. The answer is no. Eyeballs have only been on Tesla and PayPal, and then unfortunately Chewy, which was a miss. And you're gonna focus on Tesla when we get a delivery number like that. But Chewy falling apart here underneath that $25 level. You can like the short all you want, but if you're looking somewhere else at the open, rightfully so, it's gonna happen. Here comes Nvidia. Wow, Nvidia with another V-shaped bottom. All right, I'm going to go back to scalping Tesla if it's going to. Can't seem to break 221. We'll take some out in front of 221. But NVIDIA back to this 223 almost seems inevitable at this point. So strong move down for NVIDIA, holding a higher low. It gave everything. It clawed back everything yesterday. Can it do something similar? The short for me was until 123, so we got to let it get there. And AMD, wow, AMD's strong. All right, 163. It's that simple. AMD, 163. That's the level we're waiting for. Tesla just tagged 221, so we're going to look for another reload spot. I think we wait around for that the 218, 219 area again as Tesla making its way back into the upside. The first break at 220 wasn't any good, but it's holding fort off of this. First it was anchored VWAP. Now actual VWAP is sitting at 218, so we'll give it to there. Rivian, I probably should get to this because remember, Rivian could also break out 14.5. It is right there. So I guess we're going to get some Rivian too, breaking out its local high.
There's some strength coming in on Tesla there, 221. The tape slightly distinctly different on that dip down into 220s, coming right back into 221. Let's see if we can push for that high a day there. High a day 223 as of right now. Again, take a look at this chart over here. Pulls back into anchored VWAP right on top of that 218 and holds absolutely beautifully for another bid back up, but hasn't really tested this pre-market high just yet at that 223 mark. I think that if we push past that 223, we definitely have some ways to go to the upside there. But again, it is still chopping technically sideways within the opening range here. You can see the opening range in on the 3-minute candle here. The high is at 221.50, the low being at 218.81, and we're just kind of trading in that zone. What's going on, Adara?
Up on the SPY here, Fed Chair Powell saying that they're confident the Fed, or that we're back on a disinflationary path after a little bit of higher inflation data than expected as we got in the first half of the year, but saying that we're turning back to disinflation. He's confident that we're on the path to 2%. So some of this echoing previous statements, but nice little pop here in the SPY nonetheless. Also worth knowing that apparently highlighting labor strength in the market as well, as we have quite a few Fed speakers highlights. Just keep an eye on the continuing emphasis of labor strength, especially with a lot of labor data coming this week, guys.
Yeah, Apple went absolutely nuts. No questions asked. Apple looking really strong along with Tesla, but it is what it is. Rivian breakout doesn't hold. Tesla's trying to do its best. Rivian broke that 14.5. The best I got, it got about like 56s and then pulled right back in, so we had to dump out of it. NVIDIA's getting close to 123. It's not there yet. Looking for the next available dip in Tesla. I think this is now coming right back into that 218, so we'll go over to that price. But wow, Apple. Apple gave it to you as well. Like NVIDIA, clearly NVIDIA has been a runner. There's no questions about it. But Apple right down into that 215 and back up to 217. As that liquidity grab happens, it's so quick. You've just got to make sure you're really, really fast if you want to get it right at 9:30. We knew we were going to be on NVIDIA instead. Sometimes that's just what happens. You end up missing that trade because you're elsewhere. Very, very close to 163 on AMD. It's gone $4, another 3 to go, and we're at our resistance spot for Advanced Micro Devices. I still want to short Chewy, but I have to let that one settle down and give me an opportunity to maybe pop back in and short the pops on Chewy. Want a continuation play to the downside there.
Yeah, no, definitely eyes on the futures as well as they are pushing, I guess, right back up. We wicked some of those highs, and then now we're pulling right back in. So yeah, I'm curious to know what Apple and some of these other constituents are doing. I know I was watching Amazon. Amazon pulled back quite aggressively as well. 219 coming in here on Tesla, still kind of holding within that opening range. Let's see if we can kind of do some lick grabs of the high or the low. But as you can see, holding this anchored VWAP quite nicely as of right now, so it hasn't really broken. But yeah, I think that opening range break might be a decent look here on Tesla if and when it does happen. But as of right now, like I said, only about a 1-point wash, and there goes the NQ pushing for fresh highs as well. Oh boy, are the futures hella strong.
No
today.
way Intel's going to break.
What's going on? Intel's going?
I did not think this was going to happen, but here we are. Yeah, we drew the channel on Intel thinking, yeah, whatever, it's not breaking 3130 today. No, it's not breaking this channel today, not when everything else is happening. Well, best laid plans on all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, crazy move happening in Intel. It's for Intel up 1.3%, but this is the reason I like it. Trying to break out of this channel into the upside. So we'll just be involved. Gotta have it. Rivian just reclaimed that 14.5, so we're going to be in Rivian as well for a second time on that breakout. I think there's room to $15. So just in 2 names, but I do suspect, oops, that's the wrong direction. I do suspect Intel, if it makes that local break, will be involved in that as well. So Rivian got a little scalp trade, took most of it out when it couldn't hold, held on to a quarter, but that quarter we only held to 14.30. I think 14.30 looks like a dip buy spot. When I keep the 15-minute up, I want to remind myself how much room there is to the upside on this play. So we'll take a little bit less, give it to that 14.30 level with a bit of a wider stop. Still in Tesla, I'll see it pop in on Intel if we get the fill, but Tesla holding on to that pretty nicely, 219. The other place to look for a dip buy, if you're looking for a strong stock, Apple looking pretty good as well. Trying to put in a higher low here is Apple. Adara?
Yeah, so just trying to figure out what's going on here in Intel. I saw this note coming out here around 9:20, so right before the open. Bloomberg reporting that apparently the Biden administration is looking to launch this program to bolster the U.S. chip workforce. So this is part of its CHIPS Act funding. These grants are going to be a lot smaller, $500,000 to $200 million $500,000 to $2 million maximum. But INT see it as a beneficiary of the initial CHIPS Act funding on watch here. Nice push to the upside for Intel, guys.
Intel,
right.
but
Well,
I mean,
I know
Tesla right back to 221. So we took another leg out there. We'll not look at gift horse in the mouth. It's giving you this upward trend, and until it breaks that trend, or anchored VWAP, or you draw a trend line, it's a little bit early for that. But until we break the trend, I think you want to stick with the long. Just go for it. It seems to want to go over and over and over. And AMD, patience, Kimosabe. It's got to get there. It's at 160. It is absolutely flying. NVIDIA is not. The 163 is now $2 away. We're being very, very patient there as Tesla makes a challenge of that high. If Tesla breaks the top, I'm holding through the top. I haven't decided if I want the breakout on Tesla at 223. I'm going to get some out in front, and then it's whether we add, it's got to be either dips off of support. Potential breakout play, though, is set up here at 223. Let's let this one calm down a little bit. It could be wild. And 228 is the only place I'm even thinking about any shorts on Tesla. I would be getting out of longs there, though.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the fact that we're holding that anchored right now is definitely good. But again, that opening range still has not broken one way or another. What was the high again? I got to remind myself right here as we push up towards that 221.5. So we are pushing in the 220s. We're just chopping and churning in the 220s as of right now. Definitely a lot of volume churning here as well. A lot of block orders going off. There comes a 221. Did the size get taken there? I think some of it did, and it pulls right back into the 70s and 80s, holding that last quarter into that 21 mark. But
whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
no, it's what's going on?
Position board's incorrect.
Oh, it's yeah, no, my position is slightly incorrect. I think it got my second entry, not my first one.
Yeah,
so my average is 220, 12.
Maybe you'll have to restart again. So I can tell you what
yeah,
basically
okay.
happened. They restarted it, and it's just taking my last fill and assuming that that's the position. I am long Tesla at 219. So long Tesla 219. Those are outs at 220.44. That's an out at 221.07. So that's me getting positions out. But I am long. If you see me short Tesla and it's not at 227 to 230, then it's a mistake. Or I've done something stupid. But we're only looking long. We'll have to restart the position board. Sometimes pre-market trading jams that thing up, but it is what it is. Tesla's an absolute rocket ship as far as I'm concerned. And do not forget, at some point, and it won't be today apparently, Amazon 200. I know we forgot about it, but Amazon failed 99s today and trending to the downside. Just wanted to make sure we're looking at that name as well. AMD's starting to curl, but it's not AMD that's at the key level. AMD's at 161. It's NVIDIA that's back at the 123. So this has been the spot, the over-under play on NVIDIA. You wait for it to get to that price. If it fails, you got this pre-market top at 123.20. If it fails that price, I'd look for shorts back under with a tight stop into 123.25.
Yeah, no, we are still kind of struggling to break that opening range high. We attempted a little bit there. 221.50s was the high there, and we go to 221.70s on this 3-minute candle here. So we are chopping, we're holding a sideways consolidation here. We are holding a good chunk in the upper quartile of this strength that we've got off of the deliveries number. So I like that as well, above both VWAPs, and yeah, making higher lows as well, pushing or attempting to push into some of these. I'm curious to know what the short float on this thing is. As of yesterday, I know that again Tesla, it's not going to be that intense here. I think I have it up here anyways right here.
I'm going to say 3.2.
3.8. I have 3.8, so not too bad, but definitely a decent dollar, I guess, notional value when you take into consideration the float, the total float of Tesla being about 2.77 billion shares. So even 3% of that might be having a little bit of having some players sweat. As again, market tailwind is super strong. We'll take a look at the ES and the NQ here, pushing for their second green candle on the day. Very, very aggressive. We talked about that 20 thou being a little bit of a level of interest, and we have attempted to blow past it. 20,100 testing as of right now from the downside. So Spider attempting to push prior day's highs. What else do I got here? NVIDIA pushing pre-market highs. Amazon pulling back a little bit there. Apple, though, has broken past prior day high, and Softy is pushing for prior day high as well. Again, Softy very near that all-time high.
Even Polestar's at the high of the day.
All right.
Polestar just made a run. It might get that dollar break after all, but we had to get to the desk for Dara.
We're still hearing some comments from Fed Chair Powell and ECB President Lagarde here at this ECB forum over in Portugal. Currently talking about services inflation, which Feds Powell and ECB Lagarde said they were both a little bit stickier than usual. We also have moderator Sarah Eisen asking both Powell and Lagarde about the impacts of Taylor Swift on inflation here, especially with regards to services. So just some comments here still coming out of this forum, guys.
Yeah, we were just sort of talking about, and don't get me wrong, the euphoria, Tesla's a stock to trade, but I would say if there's a pullback and a dump it moment on EV names, Polestar was going to be lower hanging fruit to short. It's like the days that we short GameStop, or usually I'll short like BlackBerry when it goes in sympathy. I just go somewhere else. You know, I think it's a lot of times it's easier to do. So if we do fail, let's say Tesla rams this high, which is at the high of the day right now, and starts dumping, I'm going to have Polestar up. And if I can short it at 97 with a stop at 98.5, I mean, which one of those companies stinks and which one is good? You tell me. Although Randy really, really likes Polestar. So
223 coming.
Yeah, here comes Tesla in that 223. So that's my plan of action. If Tesla dumps off 223, you're going to see me likely in PSNY. I paid for locates. They were like dirt cheap. But here comes that 223 level for Tesla. I did get that break on Intel. It's not really moving all that rapidly, so we don't have to worry too much about it. But here comes Tesla, high of days.
Yeah, that 223, that pre-market high coming in real hot. Again, there was a stack at halves that got taken out. Now we're back in the 70s. Here's the 80s with more ferocity. We are bidding right back up. So let's see if that changes the probability of us pushing through that 223 as well. Here comes the 80s once again. We're holding that last quarter. So the 70s are holding, the halves are holding, which is a good sign for pushing those fresh highs. What's going on, Adara?
Just getting a bit of a potential inflation target here from Fed Chair Powell, saying that he sees that inflation could get back to 2% late next year, so late 2025 or early the following year. So giving a bit of a late 2025 to 2026 target for a potential 2% inflation here from Fed Chair Powell at the ECB forum, guys.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, he's putting a target on it. We'll see how that works out for them because they've been so good at predicting what's going to happen with inflation. Clearly, that's like the strongest thing in their toolbox. So 223, it has not broken yet, but I can tell you it's a double top at exactly the 223 level. There has not been a break. It's evens on the offer. Apple is dipping. I think that could come into play. I'm just staring at the big move is going to be if we actually fail that Tesla 223 and where we can jump into something. Yeah, there is your 123 pullback on NVIDIA. Yikes. Yeah, that we could have had that one. End up missing out on it. AMD did not get to our price, so we have to respect the fact that we liked AMD 163, it got to 161, and then there is the dip buy. So not exactly where we were trying to get it on AMD, but it does pull back nicely into VWAP there. A bit of a missed opportunity in AMD. I'm still on the offer of Chewy, but Chewy doesn't seem to want to get to VWAP. Oh, no, there it is. It's just when I offered, it was in front of 24.5. VWAP being a moving target, VWAP has come back in here, and Chewy is at it right now. So I'm going to try to get in front of these quarters on Chewy. We missed the flat bottom break because we were trading Tesla. Tesla's a rocket ship, obviously, but it's right back up to that 223 level. So
the washes on this ticker are absolutely crazy. Like, if you are trying to play any sort of clean wash, oh boy, is it not clean? You will get washed, and you got to sidestep all of that. Here comes the highs. The highs just broke 223.30s. 223.30s are the highs as of right now. What's going on, Adara?
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Ever wonder how the pros find those winning trades right at the opening bell? Most of us are scrambling to find headlines, finding ourselves way behind the move. But that's where Benzinga Pro comes in. It's the fastest way to trade the news with exclusive alerts up to 30 minutes before other traders, real-time market insights, and a thriving community of over 6,000 traders starting their strategies. And right now, you can try Benzinga Pro for the lowest price we offer during our July 4th sale. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description box and join Benzinga Pro today.
Thank you very much, Adara. You're getting that follow through. We got since it bounced off VWAP, you're now 4 hunting the 5 level.
Oh, yeah.
225 is sort of it's an obvious place, whether it's round number hunting. Certainly, it doesn't matter about options. It'll be up about 7% at that point. I know where the trend line is that I want to go at least look for the short there, and it's up at that 227. So if we fail the 25, I do want to jam out. Rivian is now starting to go in sympathy. So there goes Rivian. We got it the second time. I'm going to get some out in front of the 3/4 mark. We're now flying to the upside here. The market might be pulling back, but Tesla about to take that 224. If you're looking at Apple, that's looking pretty strong. I am in Chewy short. I'm in the PSNY short off of the $1 short here at 95s. It's 94.5 that we got. But all eyes on Tesla. If it fails back underneath 223, we're just going to look for another dip buy opportunity until we get to 227. I still think you've got more upside here on TSLA. Well, like I said, it's that trend line.
Are you
on
telling
Tesla.
me to hold?
No. I'm not telling anybody. Look, I'm telling you where resistance is, where the only place I'm looking for a potential short is, and we can always go back to it, and this trend line's been for like a year or something, and it's roughly at 227.5 to 228. That's the spot. If we get there, it's about the only place I'm looking for a shorting opportunity. I will jam out, though, in front of 225, though.
Yeah, 225 coming in right now. We're printing the halves, 224 halves. So 224 had a stack of size that got blasted through, which I was like, all right, we're going to blast through that with butter. 2,000, what is that? 1,000 lots sitting at 225 right there in front. So yeah, let's see if we can break through that 225. We've been taking out a lot of size on our way up here, and its next stop seems like it's 225. And Neil, you said 227 is the spot.